But I want to turn now to Christina Ruffini. Christina is our CBS News State Department reporter, and she joins us now. Christina, people have taken to the streets not only in the nation's capital, but we are hearing that there is a global response. So what are you seeing, first of all, on the ground there, and also wearing your State Department hat? I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about the global reaction.
Well, it's been very interesting. I mean, D.C. is obviously a very politically active city. It's also a very liberal city. And when CBS News decided to announce that we were calling that Joe Biden was the prospective winner of this election, I happened to be standing outside because I was trying to get service on my phone. And before I could hit the tweet, you could hear people shouting from their windows all over my neighborhood, just screaming, "Yay," and "Go Biden." I haven't seen that kind of reaction in this city since President Obama won in 2008. Now, the place I'm standing, this is 16th Street, which is the main thoroughfare that goes all the way down to the White House. Now, in front of the White House right now is that scale-proof fence that they put up after the protest this summer. It's still there. So you actually cannot, if you're close up, you actually cannot see the White House over that fence. But from this vantage point, you can see all the way down to Pennsylvania Avenue and the thousands of people who have just spontaneously come out of their houses today because they wanted to be with other people. I've talked to a couple of them who said this was just a moment of release after a long couple months and a long couple days of being cooped up inside and staring at returns. To finally have a decision one way or the other is an incredible relief, and they wanted to be outside and be with other people.
So, staying with that thread, Christina, you're there at Black Lives Matter Plaza, right in front. Right in front of the White House. Before the pandemic, I think that was Jacksonville Square, right? That wasn't Black Lives Matter Plaza. Talk to us about the significance of that location, of what it is called now, and the results of this election.
It really wasn't anything. It's always been a place that protesters can go because of its proximity to the White House. So behind me, at the end of this street, is Lafayette Park, which you might remember from earlier this summer. That was the park that protesters were in when it was cleared, so the president could walk across that park and do his photo op at St. John's Church, which is a very famous church right across the block from the White House. So ever since then, it's become kind of a rallying point for the emotional center of Washington, and anything that happens here, good or bad, people tend to gather in that same spot. You know, a few nights ago when we were out on election night, we had some skirmishes with protesters. It got a little ugly at times. It was peaceful at times. You had people from all walks of life on election night. You had pro-Trump, you had anti-Trump, you had people who were there with completely their own agenda. You had a woman singing Christian rock songs. You had another guy drumming. You had a guy threatening to box Obama. So, you know, whatever happens in D.C. now, it comes to this part of the city. And today, almost immediately, people started pouring out of other quadrants of the city and centralizing here on 16th Street and joining the crowds going down to Pennsylvania Avenue. And it's been peaceful and very joyful so far today.
So tell us about the police presence on the ground there. Has there been any evidence of conflict following the announcement? Are there Trump supporters? I saw a small group of them in one of our other shots earlier, but an overwhelming majority there, certainly joyous at the news that Biden is going to be the next president of the United States.
You know, the only bit of conflict we've seen so far, it's been overwhelmingly peaceful, and it's been overwhelmingly pro-Biden so far this morning. We saw a car coming through, and a lot of the honking has been joyful, and this seems like not joyful honking, going a little too fast and kind of pushing its way through the crowd. But for the most part, you know, coming down here, people were hanging out of windows, people were kind of blocking traffic, and then rather than getting upset, the cars would just honk, and they'd all cheer, and they'd all wave back. It's been jubilant, and the police, behind us is a circle that leads onto the square. The police have blocked off pretty quickly all the entrances to this street, and all the